Welcome back to the program. We're with Lenore Skenazy, America's Worst Mom. She started the Free Range Kids movement. She has written a book called Free Range Kids. And the website again, Lenore, for people to get more information?
Oh, guess what? It's also freerangekids.com.
.com. All right. Well, before the news there, you got some support from Dolores.
I loved her, yeah.
Who says, we just need to prepare our children and then let them fly. Tell us about the support that you've been receiving and tell us about the criticism as well.
It hasn't been a whole lot of support today. I was on the cover of a newspaper as like Bizarre Mom's Crazy Idea or something like that. If it is a crazy idea, it's one that I still stand behind, which is the idea of setting aside this Saturday, and I'm saying 10 in the morning so we can all have a particular time, to go to your local playground with your kids, and if they're old enough, like 7 or 8 or up from that, to let them play there by themselves for as long as it feels right for you and them. And that could be as short as 10 minutes if you've never done it before, as long as an hour or two if this is something that they normally do and love. But it's a chance for us to meet the parents as we drop the kids off, but particularly for the children to meet each other, because so many times I would just wish my kids were outside and playing, but they won't until they meet each other and until they start remembering how to play. I mean, I have a feeling my kids don't know how to play like red light, green light, or Mother May I, or if they do, it's only because of camp, not from being outside with other kids. And they actually have started this thing in American schools called recess coaches, who actually are there, and I don't think it's a bad idea, to teach kids the basics of, this is how you play dodgeball, this is how you play hopscotch, because there have been so many kids stuck inside for the last 10 or 15 years that you can't learn it from the older kids anymore. It's like a language that's dying, and the language happens to be childhood.
Sure. Okay, so you said that, the main benefit is they're going to meet other kids. That's a good thing. Talk about some of the other benefits for that child who they're going to experience this maybe for the first time, this little bit of freedom. How's that going to benefit them?
Freedom is obviously a heady thing. It gives them two other things. First of all, it gives them the message sometimes, for the first time that, I believe in you. I believe in the community. I believe that you're going to be okay, and that if something happens, whether you fall off a swing or, meet a new kid, you're going to be okay because, I think you're smart enough. I think you're strong enough. As much as the freedom, that message from your parents is just extremely important. I think when we look back on our own childhoods, the most important people to us were the ones who said, yes, I do believe in you. Sometimes it was a teacher. The other thing they get is a chance to do what's called free play. And here I have to sound a little bit like a professor because I got all this information from a professor.
Okay.
Which is that all the child development experts now are saying that free play, which we've sort of taken out of our children's lives, either by keeping them inside in front of a screen or by putting them in a lot of extracurricular activities, which are fun and educational, but they're regimented, and the grown-up is deciding the teams, for instance, and the rules, and when we start and when we stop. Those are things that kids have to decide on their own when they're engaging in free play. And if you have to decide with your friend, is the tree out or is the swing set out? That's the beginning of communication and compromise and fairness. If you want to take your turn out of, and you're wrong, and somebody says, no, it's not your turn yet, or you have to wait your turn. That is like one of the best pieces of education a child can get. It helps them with what's called self-regulation, the ability to sort of hold yourself in even though you want to do something wrong. Maybe a parent would say, "Oh, he went first, but let him go again. He didn't have a good turn."
So they wouldn't be.
Is not going to do that.
No,
yeah.
They wouldn't be looking to a parent to get involved in this situation. They would have to deal with it themselves.
Right, and that's why play is hardwired into us, because it is such a crucial part of growing up. And when we take it out and we try to sanitize it and make it fair and perfect and everyone gets a trophy, why does everybody get a trophy now? It's because we worry the kids have no self-esteem. If you don't give him a trophy, even though he lost, he'll feel bad. It's like, turns out feeling bad is important, and then realizing that the next day maybe you'll win, or maybe 2 days in a row you won't win, and just learning to live with a little disappointment is way more important than coming home with a meaningless trophy.
Absolutely. Okay, so you're recommending 10 a.m., and again, if the parent or the child doesn't feel comfortable, don't do it.
Don't do it. Or what I also suggest is, definitely have your child or children go with some other kids. Or The other thing is that I'm hoping that mothers of younger children will come, and they won't just leave their kids at the park. They will stay at the park watching over their toddlers or their, early grammar school kids. And that creates community, too. The idea that, look, there's 3 moms sitting on a bench. Do you think they're not going to take care if my son falls off the slide and breaks his arm? I mean, that's a very grim view of humanity.
Sure.
I like the idea of creating community again by looking to trust and help each other.
And the key here, don't leave your child there if there's no other kids around. This is not...
Right. And also, if you want, give them a cell phone, like I learned to do, or, have other kids with them. Yeah, I mean, it's not very fun to stay in the park by yourself anyhow.
No, that's not safe. Again, you want to be safe, but go with other kids. And even like you said, even just for 10 minutes, it could make a world of difference for your child.
Right, because we're breaking the ice, and the kids are meeting each other, and we're remembering that outside is where kids should be.
So, Lenore, how many people, do you have any idea how many people are going to get involved in this on Saturday?
I have zero idea. All I can tell you is that just at 5 o'clock, I was on all 4 major television stations here in New York today, so I know it's an idea that is dynamic. Let's put it that way.
So will you have any way to gauge it even after Saturday, do you think?
No, I mean, the way I can gauge it on my website, but that's already people who are pretty pro-free range, is that people will write to me and tell me what went on.
Yeah.
And I'll be at a park, so I'll see, who shows up. But I don't have a great idea. Do you have a great idea of how I can tell?
No, I don't offhand. I mean, this is a tough one to figure out exactly, if it was successful or not. Or I guess through your blog, you're going to hear from people.
Right, and also the idea of, how do you create change? How do you, almost fix something that's broken, which is, I think, the way we're raising our kids is just sad. You don't know what is the tipping point.
Yeah.
All you know is that I'm tipping. That's all I can tell you. I'm tipping.
All right. Some people say you're tipsy.
That too.
Lenore, thank you for being on the program today
this is great.
With this update, and all the best with this movement that seems to be gaining momentum. I know you're getting criticized, but it seems to be gaining momentum. I mean, you're trying to do this because you care about this generation, and you care about what kind of children we're raising nowadays.
Right, and there won't be children forever. I want to be around fun, interesting adults too.
All right, Lenore, thank you for this.
Thank you, Wade.
That's Lenore Cjca, America's worst mom. If you want more information, it's www.freerangekids.com. And we're back with more. Actually, I want to do this. I want to find out from you. What do you think about this on Saturday? Would you ever consider that? Have you done that? Take your children to the park and leave them there for just even 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I asked this question before about how, this is a good gauge. Would you allow your child to ride their bike around the block out of your sight? Is that a stretch for you? Well, what do you think about this this Saturday? Take our children to the park and leave them their day. You think it's crazy? Do you think she warrants to be called America's worst mom? We're back with your calls right after this.